Ahead and shut this down. And let's go ahead and discuss Super Mario Kart. All right. Actually, while I change the stream title, go ahead and say your thoughts first. Actually.
Yes, so I mean, regarding the question of whether it holds up or not, I think it holds up rather well for like a Super Nintendo game. Like we were talking about earlier, how like it uses the Mode 7 visuals, or like the Mode 7
Yep.
feature that the Super Nintendo had, the FX chip kind of that
Mm-hmm.
like Star Fox used and F-Zero used. But I think Super Mario Kart does the best job of using it well, like to that using the power of the Super Nintendo to its full advantage. Because playing it today, it felt pretty good.
Yeah. The
Better than I remember it being. Because I remember like not liking this game too much, but after playing it today with you, I'm like, oh, it's actually not too bad. Like it holds up rather well. There are some balancing issues. I think the roster is kind of weird.
Donkey Kong
It's
Jr.
like Donkey Kong Jr. and the stages are like a lot of repeats. But when I think back to this being like the first Mario Kart game, it's really crazy how well how good it was. Because this game, when I'm playing it, it feels like an iteration of something else. Like oh, like you said, like there must have been like a NES Mario Kart game, but there wasn't. Like they just dropped it. They started it off with a bang with this game. And there is like the main campaign mode. You have the battle mode and like the verses. So there's like a lot of good amount of content here too. Um, and I think it just controls pretty well too. Like playing in 2021. Um, it does feel kind of finicky at times, and like using items can be weird and stuff like that. But it holds up pretty well to me personally.
Yeah. No, I agree. And you hit on something kind of there with where it says where we play together. I think that's going to be a large part of what's going to make. I mean, besides nostalgia, if you're nostalgic for this game, of course you're going to enjoy it. But barring nostalgia, if you've like never played this game before, I think a large part of what's going to help you enjoy this game today is the fact that it does have multiplayer, and being on this our service of Nintendo Switch Online, that it does have online, so you can play that with a friend. I think if we're talking about a Mario Kart game that you can play, like if you're hankering for Mario Kart and you may not own 8 Deluxe, like Greysun does, this is a fine way to play online Mario Kart with a friend. It's like you said, there's balancing issues for sure. Like I really don't like the fact that rubber band AI, that's always been a thing in Mario Kart games. I'm not necessarily talking about that particularly, but the fact that the CPU characters get exclusive items that you just cannot get, and they can just seem to like spawn them when they need them the most, especially in higher difficulties like the 150cc and such. That's kind of nonsense. And again, the fact that this game, when we're talking specifically about the racing portion, where I mentioned this as we were playing, that there's limitations on how many tracks they can get in this game. So the way they
Mm.
were kind of like when or got around that was, let's have just multiple Choco Islands. The backgrounds can be exactly the same, but we change the actual track layout. That's how you can get more tracks into the game while not putting so many backgrounds. And I think that's actually ingenious that they figured out a way, because this is their first attempt at a kart racing game with Mario games, right? And this set the standard for other kart racing games, as we mentioned before we started even playing the game. So the fact that they came up with this smart idea of having same backgrounds, and it's not that there was that few. Like there was what did we encounter? We encountered Mario Circuit. We encountered Donut Plains,
Mm.
Choco Mountain, I think it was.
Whatever it's called, the
Yeah,
the Boo levels,
the Boo
Bowser's Castle,
levels,
right?
Bowser's Castle, and we didn't encounter it here, but there's also Vanilla Lake level. That one I think there's only two variations of Vanilla Lake, so that's two. I'm sorry, that's six. That's six different backgrounds in total across the game's four cups, which have five tracks each, by the way, as opposed to modern Mario Kart games, which have four each. So
Mm.
that's another interesting takeaway to do as to consider as well. That with the little that they were working with, they managed to squeeze in a lot of courses in this game and give you a lot of replay value despite the limitations. And we talked this again before we even started playing the battle mode. It's certainly been more refined over the years, but the fact that they even thought to put in this mode in their first entry, like the kart racing is enough, but they thought to put something else in there as well, which is super awesome. Now that's now it is only one and one. Now it is because Super Nintendo games are at most two people, so you're gonna get at
Mm.
most 1v1s. If you're playing with another person, which depending on how you enjoy battle mode, may be too little, But I know I personally like playing battle mode with like at least 4 people personally, and I love going in
Yeah.
online Mario Kart 8 and having battle with like all these 8 people coming around and like hitting each other and it's frantic and stuff like that. To me, 1v1s is just a little bit too little for a battle mode, especially if the 2 people in question aren't the greatest at it. It's just a lot of just driving around, not doing anything,
Yeah.
throwing. You're more likely to get yourself killed than actually beat your opponent, which I guess could be in its own it could be in its own fun, I suppose. But I'm just it's nice that it's there, that it set the standard for the later battle modes and later games, and the racing itself. Again, it's not as quite as balanced. It's more the strat, unless you get like really good at drifting, is more just braking at your turns, and you only really get into the drifting groove if you're playing with the heavier characters like DK Jr. or Bowser. So I guess it just depends on your playstyle. For me personally, the only way I was making any kind of meaningful progress was when I was using the medium range characters like Mario and Luigi, and just braking when I had to just make these turns,
Mm.
and it was working for me. Maybe it'd be different for you if you tried it. And yeah, if you have the Super Nintendo games on, if you have Nintendo Switch Online to play these games, I think this is definitely worth looking at, to see. If you love Mario Kart, you owe it to yourself to check this game out to see where it all started. Even if it's not something that you stick with, you have to, seeing it will help give you an appreciable level of how much the series has evolved over the years, seeing from where it literally started to the last mainline game in the series. And like you said, Gray, I think it still holds up. I do. Because it's not perfect, but it's still a perfectly fun game to play with a friend or by yourself if you're just trying to do the Grand Prix. It just takes it's a little. I'm not going to say it's janky because the control's fine. It's just the mechanics of how you have to navigate the courses are different compared to later games. Like, over the years, Mario Kart has just been more and more polished as each new series has gone along, with 8 being currently the peak of the polish. It can still probably even be better. Who knows? But, it's all that to say the first game itself, it's not like it was terrible. It really wasn't. You could still play this game today and have fun with it, and it's a perfectly suitable alternative to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. If, again, someone didn't have it, but they had Switch Online, it's perfectly fine. And yeah, Super Mario Kart, I like it. I do like it. It wears its limitations on its sleeve and makes a really good, compelling, fun racing game in spite of where it's at. And I can't say that for too many like retro games. Like a lot of the retro games, you just kind of have to accept that they're old. This game knows that it's it has the technology it has, and works with it in a beautiful way. Yeah, Super Mario Kart's great. I like it.
Yeah, and it's so interesting to see like you talked about how the series has evolved so much, but
Yep.
it's also kept so much of stuff that started off in this game, like the coin
Yes.
thing. Like they brought that back in Mario Kart 8.
Right.
And they didn't have that in any other entry besides the first one. So it's crazy to see how they're still taking so much like design ideas from this original game. And you look at the battle mode even, and it's literally almost the same exact thing, just touched up a little bit when you think about it.
Yeah.
So it's just like crazy how like in what it's been like what 20 almost 30 years of
Yeah.
Mario Kart. Yeah, and it's just
Yeah.
like
Whoa.
it
Hold on.
changed so
Yeah.
much, but
This
also
is
at
this
its
is
core, it's the same.
Yeah, this one came out in '92. It's 2021. Oh god,
Wow, 30
we
years
are
next
about
year.
approaching the 30th anniversary of Mario Kart. Almost. Next year
Oh
is the 30th
God.
anniversary of the Mario Kart series
See what
specifically.
they do. See if they do anything special. They
Let's
have to,
see.
right?
Well, they have to.
30 is a
Nintendo
big
has
amount.
to. Nintendo has to do things for this anniversary that
Maybe
fans.
it's finally time to release a new one.
Maybe so. In a world where it's not like Splatoon has any kind of specific rules, but in a world where Splatoon 2 and 3 are going to be on the Switch, I don't think it's
Mm,
impossible that a new Mario Kart game could go on Switch at all, especially since,
yeah.
8 Deluxe was not only a port, but it came out year 1 of the Switch. There's room for another one if they wanted to really do it.
Yeah, because usually Nintendo fans are conditioned to believe like, okay, we're getting one main entry every, console generation. But
Because
since
that's
they
how they've
started
done it up to
off,
this point. Yeah.
yeah, but now they're kind of switching things up. Because we got a Zelda game and a Mario game at launch. So now it's like, are we really gonna have to wait for an entire new generation to get new ones? Which I don't think is the case. I think we'll see another like 3D
Right.
Mario. See, we're getting another Zelda game. So
Yeah, Super Mario Galaxy 2 threw out the theory that there can only be like one major Super Mario core
yeah.
game on a system. And with Mario Kart, if you really want to get technical with it, Mario Kart Live is also on Switch. It's not a mainline Mario Kart game. I wouldn't consider it. It's like spin off that takes advantage of this cool
Yeah.
Mario and Luigi toy, but it's still a Mario Kart game. So technically, they've already broken the rule in that regard.
Yeah, technically,
So
yeah.
who knows? It's entirely possible. I could tell you this much, dude. I don't play Mario Kart 2 anymore because I don't like the gotcha of that game. It's not really good, and it's also doesn't control that great.
Mhm.
Like it does okay on a touch screen, but every time I've played Mario Kart Tour, I just like, well, why am I not just playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe which controls sublimely?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but what I would love from another Mario Kart mainline game is take all this cool stuff that they're putting in Tour, all these costumes for these interesting characters,
I
these
know.
rotating tracks. Every time I look at a new trailer for Mario Kart Tour, I'm so jealous because it looks so cool that they're getting all these cool costumes, that they're getting all these cool tracks, and I'm like, but I don't want to play this. I just ah. And if they ever
Yeah.
did, I would please don't do it as a gotcha. Just put
It's
those.
just
I would
I
rather like if they made a new mainline Mario Kart game and had all these premium costumes, I would rather pay individual money for a costume that I may actually want in the game. Like there's certain costumes in Tour
yeah,
that
me
I don't
too.
really care for, but there's some that I would have really liked. Like the Penguin Mario. You never see that anymore. I would pay money for a Penguin Mario costume or a Penguin Luigi. Yeah. All this to say. But yeah, we kind of got up the rails there, but like Super
Yeah, it's
Mario
cool.
Kart, it's a lot of fun. It's definitely worth playing today, especially if you've never played it. You may be pleasantly surprised at how well it actually does hold up.
Yeah.
But that is Super Mario Kart. We are going to be moving on to Mario